Hi guys, welcome in this new Albanian lesson. In today's lesson, we will focus at some confusing and similar words you should know in the Albanian language. So, without further ado, let's start with the first two words you should not confuse in Albanian. First one is our traditional food. If you ever come to Albania, that's one of the first things you need to try. This food in Albanian is known as byrek. 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 Now be careful because we have another very similar word with this one, the word underwear. Now for underwear in Albanian, you can say brek. Brek. So let's repeat them once again. The traditional food, byrek, byrek, and underwear, brek, brek. Then we have peach and fish. Peach, piesk, piesk. Fish, peshk, peshk. Then we have the word sun and beer. Now these words are very similar in Albanian. Remember that for sun in Albanian, you can say beer. Beer. Here the R is very soft. Beer. And then for the drink, beer, remember that the R here is very strong. So here you will say beer. Beer. Then we have son and devil. For son in Albanian, or boy, because son and boy in Albanian, we use them interchangeably. You can also say beer and also djal. It's up to you. So for boy, you can say djal, djal. And then for devil, djal, djal. Then we have cry and tea. Now, these are very similar. For some of you, these might sound exactly the same, but trust me, they are not. The main reason why they might sound the same is because in the Albanian language, the letter Q and letter C with the tail, in the north of Albania, some regions do not use the C with the tail. They just use the Q. However, especially if you travel in the south of Albania, we use both sounds, the C with the tail and also with the Q. Remember, the more fluent you become in Albanian, the more you are going to notice the difference. But if you are a total beginner, it might be a bit tricky that you notice the difference between these two letters. So let's see carefully. Cry in Albanian, you can say chai, chai, chai. And then for tea, chai, chai, chai. Then we have onion and the verb to sue. Now remember that the E with two dots at the end of the word in Albanian, normally when we speak, it's silent. So we do not pronounce it. So these two words will be pronounced exactly the same. So the only way to know which is onion or the other one is, of course, by the context. So for onion, you will say chip, chip, and then even for sue, again, chip, chip. The E at the end is normally silent, so as I told you, the only way to know the meaning of these two situations or words is going to be, of course, by the context. And then we have for and but. For in Albanian, you can say per, per. And then for but, por, por. Then we have solution and choice. For solution, in Albanian you can say zgjidhje, zgjidhje, zgjidhje. And for choice, zgjedhje, zgjedhje, zgjedhje. And then let's see, we have here two very important verbs. The verb to insult and the verb to cry. Even these two verbs are similar to each other. So for insult in Albanian, you will say shy, shy. And for cry, as we saw it before, chai, chai. Then we have blood and revenge. For blood in Albanian, you will say gjak, gjak. And for revenge, hak, hak. Then we have longing and trouble. For longing in Albanian, you will say mal, mal. And for trouble, hal, hal. Then we have lips and blouse. For lips in Albanian, you can say buz, buz. And for blouse, bluz, bluz. Then we have grass and shepherd. Even these two ones are very similar, so make sure you put the stress at the I at the end for the word shepherd. So for example, grass, bar, bar. And then if you want to say shepherd, add an I at the end. So here you'll say body, body. So bar for grass and body for shepherd. And then we have chicken and stamp. Now remember that these two words are almost identical, so the only way to make the difference is by stressing the double L quite a lot. So for chicken, in Albanian you will say pul, pul. And for stamp, remember to use the double L and say pull, pull, pull. So once again, chicken, pull, pull, and then stamp, pull, pull. Then we have two other verbs, very important ones, to steal and to vomit. Now, for steal, in Albanian, you will use the verb vjedh, vjedh, vjedh. And then to vomit, here you can say vjell, vjell, vjell. And then we have the last two words for this lesson, butter and snake. For butter, in Albanian you can say gjalp, gjalp. And for snake, jarper, jarper, jarper. So once again, butter, gjalp, gjalp, and snake, jarper, jarper. Thank you for watching and do not forget, subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.